There is a fairly basic Christmas carol that is sung at most carols by candlelight. But it contains a pretty serious lie. What's the lie that everybody sings at Christmas time? But yeah, you've got to be good to get presents. It's actually quite a clever manipulative tool on behalf of parents to get their kids to behave and produce guilt. But it's a dangerous lie. This ad we're about to watch explains, sort of point blank, why it's a dangerous lie. Let's have a look.
Maddie, what's your brother order?
Can I post this, please?
North Pole, I assume?
Yeah.
Remember, be as good as gold, and you'll get just what you want. Be as good as gold, and you'll get just what you want. Just what you want. Just what you want.
I'll get it!
Oh, thank you. Managing back there?
Yeah. Do you want my seat?
Sorry.
Can you please leave your homework with me at the front of the...
Here you go, sir.
Try again, Maddie.
Sorry.
We're nearly there.
No running!
You okay?
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Come on, let's go.
Merry Christmas, love.
But I was so good.
Good boy.
Well, there you go. So if a little girl believes in the Santa story, she believes that she can be good enough to get a home, and if she doesn't have a home, there must be something wrong. How would you answer the little girl? What would you say to her? I think our answer has to be threefold. I think the first thing we need to say to her, and we need to remember, is that bad things do happen. And there are children suffering in ways that children just shouldn't have to suffer. So we need to help calibrate her expectations, particularly if she's suffering, and saying it's not because she's been naughty. Bad things happen. The second thing we need to say, and we need to remember, is that Jesus promises to be with us in the darkest moments of our life. And many of us in this room can share from first-hand experience what a difference that actually makes. But like I've been saying, we can't leave it there. That is the truth of the gospel. Those two things are the beautiful truth of the gospel. But we will be sounding shallow if we leave it there. The truth is, I think we also need to say to her, we in the church are a bunch of ordinary people. And many of us carry scars from where bad things have happened to us. But because we love Jesus, we will be working to make sure everyone like you is loved and gets what they need to thrive as best we can. We don't have all the answers and we can't fix everything, but we want to care for you and people like you. If we're to be honest, there is part of us that would rather look away from you because it's uncomfortable to see someone in your position. We can also fall into going through the motions of Christianity and focusing on our own needs and our own families because sometimes they feel so overwhelming, we just don't feel like we've got space for problems like yours. So we might give money to an organisation or find ways not to think about people who are facing what you're facing. We're deeply sorry for all the times our self-absorption has meant we were deaf to Jesus' call to care. I think we'd have to be honest with the little girl and say something like that. I think we need to finish by saying something like, we don't care because we think Santa or Jesus will give us what we want if we do. We care because Jesus loves us. And his love in us calls us to lift our eyes from ourselves and put our eyes on people like you. The Apostle Paul is really clear. There are two responses Christians are to have to people in need. The first is to care. Rejoice with those who rejoice, mourn with those who mourn, live in harmony with one another, don't be proud, but be willing to associate with people of low position. Don't be conceited. He's actually saying, let your emotional world be affected by the situation of other people. Don't keep them at a distance. Let yourself care. But caring isn't enough. Another major theme in the Bible is you've got to actually do something. You, my brothers and sisters, were called to be free, it says in Galatians, but don't use your freedom to indulge the flesh. Rather, serve one another humbly in love. For the entire law is fulfilled in keeping this one command: love your neighbour as yourself. Our response to the little girl needs to be caring and doing. You are not responsible for all the needs of the world, but you are responsible to be faithful for the bit that God is calling you to do, to care for the real needs of real people, and then to do something about it. I continue to be challenged by the last public speech given by the founder of the Salvation Army. A couple of months before he passed away, William Booth got up I think Dan was telling me where it was, a big hall in London, and he said this: while women weep, as they do now, I'll fight. While children go hungry, as they do now, I'll fight. While men go to prison, in and out and in and out, as they do now, I'll fight. While there is a poor, lost girl on the streets, while there remains one dark soul without the light of God, I'll fight to the very end. I think the question for us is, what fight are you in? Who are you fighting for?